3, 2, 1. We're live. You're Carlo. For those of you guys that don't know him, check the bio in the link below. But let's dive right into it. Like, my first question really is, because I know you were a first responder at 9/11.
Yeah.
I would like you to, if you can, in as much detail as possible, run us through where you were, exactly when you found out that the plane started crashing into the buildings, and what you were doing, and what I said at that time. You were a firefighter, right?
Firefighter, yeah.
Right, and so
firefighter paramedic.
Yeah. Okay, a paramedic, yeah. And so
Firefighter paramedic.
Firefighter paramedic.
Yeah.
Sorry, is there a difference?
Yeah, you're either firefighter or a paramedic, and then they have firefighter paramedic.
Okay.
You know, you're just dual trained.
Right.
You know, so.
Wow. So what happened on that day?
So in the fire department, you have a mandatory PT where you go out of service for like an hour, and you can go to a gym. You can go to like a community center, run around the track.
Right.
And
but you guys stay fit. Like, I mean, you're a little bit older than me. I mean, you're jacked even today. I mean, you've been working out your whole life, man.
Yeah.
It's nuts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to come to agreement. Like if you're on a unit, like a medic unit or a rescue squad or a ladder truck or an engine company.
Yeah.
You have to agree on where you're going to train.
Okay.
So some guys don't like doing any weights. So they just want to run by the river, by the Potomac River.
Right.
Some guys only like weights. So they go to the community center to lift weights. So that day we went to a community center that had a track and some weights, and we're jogging around the track. And then you could hear like the low flying plane, going over. Like, what the hell was that?
Right.
And then
where exactly were you there?
Huh?
Yeah, where exactly were you? Like, so you're where's the Pentagon again?
Arlington, Virginia.
Arlington, Virginia.
It's a suburb of DC.
Okay.
Just right across the bridge from DC.
Okay, and you're close to that.
Yeah, I worked for the Arlington County Fire Department at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we're right there, man. It was we heard it in the distance, and then all of a sudden over the radio, a call goes out that the plane hit the bridge. So a long time ago, there was airflow that crashed into one of the bridges.
Okay, like completely random.
Yeah, so we thought it was the same thing.
Right.
So I'm like all pumped up. Yeah, that's what we love. Firefighters love that shit. I'm telling you, we love fires. We love disasters. We live for that stuff. That's what we're trained for. So if you see me getting excited about disaster, I mean, that's just our job. But anyway.
No, but you jump right into it, right? And
yeah, we jumped
you're
into it.
helping and saving people's lives, right?
Yeah. So I got on the unit, and I'm just hauling ass, man. I hit the highway, hauling ass. And then I look to the left because we're going to where the bridge they said the plane hit.
Right.
But we see the Pentagon's all lit up.
Wow.
Smoke coming from the Pentagon.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And then everyone says, oh, no, it's the plane hit the Pentagon, So we divert. I pull up right on the grass in front of the Pentagon. There's people running out. There's a lot of chaos.
This is like minutes after, right? Like within 10, 15 minutes or something, right?
Yeah, that was minutes. Yeah, like 2-3 minutes.
Wow.
And I was there, yeah. And
it's just burning right there.
They just started grabbing people.
Wow.
Giving them IVs, morphine, treating the burns. And then after no one else was coming out, then... Like at the time, I was on a medic unit. It was just me and my partner.
Right.
But we're firefighters, but we're also medics.
Right.
And I wasn't attached to an engine company or a ladder company or rescue squad. So the good thing about being a firefighter medic, you can just roll with anyone.
Right.
So after I treated all the patients that I could find and everybody else was already evacuated, then I started doing entries with whoever was going in.
Right. Was that without masks or anything?
No. We carry full protective gear on the medic unit.
Yeah.
So I had, my breathing apparatus. The only thing I didn't have was like firefighting tools, like an axe, a Halligan,
right.
or, the forcible entry tools.
Oh man, it's just what goes through your mind when you're walking into a fire like that?
I mean, I was pumped up. And
Sorry, how old were you then? Actually,
2001, 31.
31. Okay.
Yeah. So, like thinking back on it, I didn't know it was a terrorist attack.
Right.
I just thought it was a regular fire. I thought it was an accident. Plane just crashed into the Pentagon. It wasn't until it went over the radio later, be advised that this is a possible terrorist attack. And it still didn't really click. I just was like, I'm just fighting fire, you know, what else can I do?
Yeah.
And so I started going and just looking for people and just couldn't find any living people. It was it was like a sci-fi / horror movie.
Right.
You know, when you walk in, it's just jet fuel, water, smoldering things, wires hanging down, rubble, building still kind of crumbling. There was a time when I kind of heard a noise over here, and I move over there, and then all this concrete just fell where I was.
Whoa.
And, I was like, okay, I just moved on and just kept looking for someone. I just was hoping to find someone. And then they called for everyone to get out. They're like, another plane's coming, everyone out. So
it's on the internal comms kind of thing you can do.
Yeah. So
you guys are all like communicating like that?
Yeah. So they do a thing where everyone puts 3 loud blasts on their horns so everyone can hear it. If they don't, their battery's dead or whatever. So that means to get out.
So you walk around with a horn?
No, so the fire trucks or the ladder trucks.
Okay. The trucks have them.
The driver will just hit the air horn really loud just in case someone doesn't have radio comms.
But anyone can hear that, right? Yeah.
They should. Yeah. But anyway, I was kind of pissed because I was like, I'm getting yanked out of here. And I could be meters away or like inches away from someone.
How's visibility in there with the smoke and everything? Zero, right? So you're just fumbling through.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just whatever light you had. You just see barely your hand in front of your face.
But this time you're fully like masked in, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we get out, and then it turns out it was just a normal plane flying over. It wasn't another plane. And then that's when it just really angers you, because you got pulled out and you felt like there could have been someone.
Did you go back in?
Yeah, I just kept going back in.
Right.
I wasn't supposed to go back in, but I kept going back in. So I just felt like I had the strength of 100 men, an endurance of 100 men. So I did that from about 9:40 a.m. to like 1 or 2 a.m. No break, no food, no water. I just kept going in. So I'd see a company, engine company or a ladder or rescue company going in. I'd go in with them, search. They'd get tired and come out. And then I wasn't attached to anybody. So basically, the way the fire department works, you do your entry and you do your search. Yeah. And then everybody comes out as a team because you have to make sure you have all your men together and you're not missing anyone. And then the procedure is you go to rehab. So when you go to rehab, they hydrate you, they check your vital signs like your blood pressure, pulse, make sure you're all right. They don't want you having a heart attack.
Yeah, of course.
And whatnot.
Of course.
So since I wasn't attached to them, I would see who else is going in. So as soon as they would come out, instead of going to rehab like I'm supposed to, I would just go right back in. They would get tired. I'd wait at the door. Who else is going in? I'd go in with them.
Yeah. On that day, 189 people passed away right there around you. I think 25 of them were people on the airplane. Yeah. Right? I think we just looked up on those stats and stuff like that. Yeah. But did you actually find someone in there that you could pull out and save them something?
No. That was like a regret. It's stuff that haunts you, like because it wasn't that just that one time that we got pulled out. We kept getting pulled out, and I was like, man, if I was in there the whole time, I felt like maybe I could have found someone, but it's kind of a false hope because in reality, if you weren't out in the first 5 to 10 minutes, man.
Yeah, but that was my next question. Is like, how long? It's with that kind of smoke because you're wearing full mask and everything,
fire,
right?
The concussive effects of that, man. It's like like when I was going through there, you'd see people in various stages of like death. You know, you'd have the skull with a little bit of spine, and then the little, like a black circle and gray ashes, and then you'd have a person that was fully clothed holding their key card. I remember that, and there's people sitting at their desk just like we're sitting right here, just fully clothed. Just kind of slumped over, and some fully burnt to a crisp sitting in their chairs. And I remember there was like a pile of people by the door, and there was one guy, he was in a military, like a naval military uniform, all white, I guess. And he had his key card, like that. I guess they wear their keys on their neck, whatever. So he had it in his hand, and his hand was like outstretched to the door. It was just like this, And I guess when that plane hit, like all the power went out, everything went out, and just everyone just kind of bunched up by this door, I guess. And he was holding his hand up. He's still fucking holding his hand up, man. Yeah. I'll never forget that.
Wow. I can't even imagine how that must have felt like.
Yeah. And then how some rooms or offices have those drop ceilings?
Yeah. So the one that they conceal the air conditioners on behind to make the ceiling like flat kind of thing, yeah.
So I remember it was nighttime, and there's the smoke, a little bit of smoke had cleared, and the whole ground was covered with the drop ceiling. Like it was because of the flames and the moisture, I guess. It was like wet cardboard kind of mush,
Yeah.
And it made like a blanket on the ground. And I remember just going through that area multiple times. And then I remember coming back when the sun started to come up, and I realized that I was just walking on people because it was like underneath that drop ceiling just hid everything, all the people that were under it. And I was like, man, I can't believe it.
But you couldn't see that when it was dark and all the smoke and everything.
I was like just frantically, just kind of, I'm just laser focused, searching for anything. But because it wasn't just flat, it was just kind of like, there's rubble, there's desks and files, everything's tipped over, and drop ceiling. The drop ceiling was really thick, so it made that is like a carpet. So yeah, and just piles of feet. I remember like seeing like a big pile of feet by a column, and I was thinking, why is there a pile of feet there? And I still to this day still kind of, I don't know is it because like when you're sitting in the plane and then everything gets kind of hacked off like that? I don't know. It was weird.
It was just the feet.
Just the feet. It was like so many feet just piled up next to this column.
Don't think I can wrap my mind around that one.
Yeah.
How do you move on from that? I mean, what happens? So you go home that day, or you're hanging with the crew a little bit longer?
I'll tell you what happened. So I'm rolling in with all these guys and nonstop, no break, whatever. Yeah. And my partner, I'd seen my partner earlier. He's like, man, you got to take a break. He's like, I see you going in there. I know what you're doing. Stop it. Go to rehab. And then I remember going in, doing another entry. And this was like I said, like maybe 1 or 2 in the morning. Somebody tugs my neck, trying to go. I'm like, man, who the hell is tugging my fucking neck, man? I turn around. I'm freaking pissed off. And it's my captain. He's like, hey, John told me you are still doing entries. Yeah. He's like, you need to go to rehab, man. Yeah. And when you're exposed to all that, man, you're really angry and amped up. You just want to take out your anger on someone. And I looked at him, and I was ready to throw down with him, but I was like, maybe he saw that, and he was like, Carlo, it's not going anywhere, man. Yeah. This is still going to be burning for another couple days. It's not going anywhere. Just take a fucking break. Chill. And then it wasn't until it was kind of a slap in the face. I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense. All right. So I back up, put my tools down. And then I was like, I need a place that I can chill, So
Sorry, man. Take your time.
All right, so there's this ambulance that was on the scene, and it was like ransacked. So people just ransacking all the apparatus on the scene was just ransacked, you know. So saw this ambulance, and I was like, I'm gonna go in there and be alone for a second, because this shit's gonna fuck me up, you know.
Yeah.
So I went in there, closed all the doors, locked them, so no one would come in, and I sat on the bench. It's like there's a bench and there's the bed where you put the patient. It's called a gurney, whatever. Ripped the sheet off of that thing, just grabbed it, just put it on my face, and smothered myself. And I just grabbed it, and I screamed as loud as I could. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna give you these fucking tears. And I don't know who I was talking to.
Right.
I mean,
and you don't even know what the anger is aimed at, or are you very clear on that? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, because I was like, if I don't get this out of my system, man, it's gonna fuck me up. So I was like, I just put my face in the sheet. I yelled, I cried, and I was like, I'm done with it. I'm not gonna shed any more tears or be sad about it anymore. But
man, dude, it's. I'm sorry for taking you back there. I can hear it. You're talking, and you're right there again.
Yeah, yeah. But I got out of the fucking ambulance and I went back in. But it wasn't the same, because like it wasn't like I wasn't as laser focused as I was when I was like in and out, in and out, in and out. Like after I had that little quiet time. You know, when I was looking around, doing the search, whatever, I just like, yeah, man, I just need to take a break. I need to get out of here. So there's like a big ass pile of rocks, just stretched like this, just sat there and just watched it fucking burn, man. Just sat there and looked at it, and I just fell asleep.
Yeah.
You know, and then woke up, you know, in the morning, you know, sun was coming up, whatever. And just be like, hey, you know, I'm here. What do you want? Where do you need me?
Right.
You know, so.
Wow. Oh, man, that was unbelievable. I felt I was right there with you, man.
Yeah.
Very, very troubling times.
Yeah. And I was there for 3 weeks. 3 straight weeks. And it really knocked me off my axis, man, because I was like, super outgoing, man, really social. And then after that, I was done.
Well, what was the biggest factor that like hits you? Yeah. Because I mean, pretty early on, you realize that it wasn't an accident. It was an attack, and it's like literally the first attack on American soil.
Yeah.
So it completely must have like changed like everything you believe about I don't know, the world maybe. I mean,
yeah, I mean it's. I think it did that to a lot of Americans. We never thought something like that would happen,
right,
on our soil. You know, like we thought we're invincible.
Yeah.
And I used to drive by the Pentagon all the time, and I always thought to myself, I mean, what's keeping anyone from just pulling over, launching a rocket, RPG at it? Nothing really. The good and the bad is the area that the plane hit was under construction.
Right.
So it wasn't like max capacity as normally was. So there would have been a greater loss of life if that was the case. But the good thing is, like, we had done lots of drills at the Pentagon, lots of training at the Pentagon.
Which is a massive building, right?
Yeah,
it's like huge.
It's a maze. It's a maze. It's a freaking maze, man. And if I didn't do all those drills there, like we did like hazmat drills, like mock terrorist attacks with like gas, not, you know, like a sarin gas attack, not a plane or anything like that. But we did lots of drills like that. So I was well familiarized with the layout. But even with that knowledge, it's still kind of, it was difficult, you know.
I was in Japan when it happened.
Yeah.
I was here, and I had 2 2001. So I think my second daughter had been born there. So I just remember I was about to go to the gym or just gotten back from the gym.
Right.
And I just turned the TV on and it was like on all the channels, everything was live. And it's just like, I sat down, I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
And then I remember very vividly, like seeing the planes go right into the Twin Towers. And I was just like, what is that?
Yeah. I didn't see that until later because I was on the fire ground the whole time.
Right.
And then after a while, they bust us back to the firehouse. And we had like a quick AAR, after action report, with just our team. And then I saw the footage on the news, and man, I was like, this shit is serious, man. When I saw the towers,
What's the initial reaction when you realize that it's actually terrorism? I mean, how does that make someone like you feel when you realize that? How does that impact the work that you did on the Pentagon during that time? Did it change your view on it? It made you more angry, or
it made me angry because I knew I had friends on the New York Fire Department, and I was like, "There's no way they survived that."
Oh my God!
And I lost a friend. His name's Vinny Princiata.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing, man.
The 20-year anniversary is coming up, and usually, I remember when I was on the fire department, I used to give guys a hard time about PTSD. Like, I remember there was this call. There was a fire, kicked open the door, and the door is kind of hard to get open, you know. And I realized there was a body behind it. And then, you know, I was able to squeeze in, get in through the crack. And then it was a dad holding an infant, the mom, and then two kids, like all in a line like that. And the guy behind me grabbed the infant from the father. And then he started doing CPR on it. And I'm like, stop doing that. Baby's dead, you know? And he's like, no, the baby moved. It moved. I saw it move. I swear I saw it move. So he started freaking out. And, you know, I tried to calm him down. I'm like, it's a wrap, man.
Yeah.
Give me the kid. He was done, man.
Yeah.
It was horrible. After that call, everyone that was on that call, they took us into this meeting room, you know, to make sure everyone's okay.
Yeah.
They had a social worker come in and all that. And everyone's going around the room and, you know, saying their little piece and stuff like that. And then the chief looked at me and he's like, Carlo, you seem to always keep your cool. You know, what advice would you give these guys that are really stressed out, and especially the one who's had this problem with the baby?
Yeah.
And I said something really insensitive. I said, he should quit. I mean, this is the job. This is what the job is. You know, if you break down, I mean, you have to realize this is what we do. This is not a paycheck type of job. You know, you see a lot of crazy stuff. And look, you give your all and do your best. You give 100%. You can't save them all. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to accept that.
Did he bounce back?
No. They transferred him to some slow station. Because usually there's always a station that's slower. And it's usually in a nice neighborhood. It's not a lot of fires. It's kind of like a retirement. We call it the retirement home.
Wow.
Like stations that are in nice neighborhoods. You can run you run maybe 1 or 2 calls a day. I like working the busy ones, like in the, you know, the ghetto or the more urban areas where you just back to back to back to back to back nonstop. You know, I like that stuff.
All right. Let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're Italian.
Yeah.
Mom, dad's Italian.
Yeah, my dad's Italian. My mom's African American.
And you were born in America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so where were you raised?
I was born in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah.
It's a steel town.
Yeah.
It used to be. My mom left my dad when I was 2. And then she married this guy. This is like canine. He used to be a canine guy in Vietnam.
Well, sorry, what is a canine guy?
Canine is a dog handler.
Yeah.
Canine guy
okay.
is a dog handler. So.
And they use the dogs to track down.
Yeah, so you either use the dogs to secure the perimeter.
Okay.
And, you know, or hunt people.
Right.
And
so you were raised with your mom then?
Yeah, it was my mom and him. So I didn't even know I was Italian, or had any Italian. I thought it was just African American.
Okay.
You know, she married a African American guy that was really light skinned. You know, so I thought he was my real dad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
it's funny. When I met my real dad, I was like 5. My real dad comes to the house and knocks on the door, and I see this guy. He's an Italian guy.
And you're like, what's going on here?
He's like, I was like, who's this? And he knocks on the door. He's like, is your mom home? I was like, who are you? He's like, I'm your dad. I'm like, what? No, my dad's back there, man.
Wow.
And
that must have been an eye opener.
Yeah, it was an eye opener, man. So my stepdad, he's like really pissed off.
Of course.
He runs past me, opens up the door, and just beats the hell out of my dad.
Oh, my God. Okay.
That was the first time I met him. Just beat the crap out of him. And my dad just kind of gets folded up, and he runs off, gets in his car and takes off. And then the thing is, like, before my dad came in the picture, I got along great with this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
But as soon as now I realize I have a different dad, like, he flipped.
Yeah,
like,
all the dynamics changes, right?
Yeah, he was just being really racist towards me. You know, he'd call me a wop and zebra and
a zebra?
a guinea.
Is that even a thing? I've never heard that before.
Well, if you're white and black.
Oh, you know, okay, got it. Yeah. Oh, I'm from Denmark. It never clicked on me on that one.
So he would make a lot of racist comments towards me like that, and inappropriate like beatings. Man, I was getting beat up a lot. You know, throw me down the stairs, crazy stuff.
That's horrible, man.
I remember when this is a crazy story. I was sleeping, and I hear my mom screaming in the distance. You know, I guess from the living room. So I'm in my pajamas. I'm like 5 years old, whatever. Throw my covers off, run down the hall. I see him in the living room. He's got my mom by my ankle. She looks at me. She's like, "Help, Carlo, help." And then I run over there. He's like, "Get off my mom," you know?
Yeah.
And he just kind of laughs. And he's lying on his back, and he's like tugging on her leg, and she's like hopping on one leg. So I just soccer kick him right in his face. Bow! Glasses break, fly off. And my mom's like, "Oh, we're just playing."
Oops.
Yeah, oops. This guy stands up, grabs me, you know, like one like here, and then like the seat of my pants, and just kind of throws me down the hallway. So I do like this forward baseball slide on the hardwood floor. So I get to my room to skid to halt. And I look up, he's like running down the hallway, picks me up again, takes me to my bed, and just slams me, and I kind of bounce up in there, boom. And then slams the door and goes back in the living room.
Okay, then my stories are not even close to that, but my dad also left us when he was very young, and then he ran off with some Swedish chick. Apparently she was redhead. And then, so I grew up with a stepdad that I never really respected.
Yeah.
Like, it was really bad. I was like, yeah, but you're not my real dad. I knew this from day one. He wasn't my real dad. Long story short, he passes away, my real dad, when I'm very young, like 3, maybe 4 though, at the oldest, right?
Right.
And then so around 7 or 8, I think I was, we're sitting down at the dinner table, because at this time we're living with my Irish stepdad, and so the 4 of us, right? And then, story comes out. Mom goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, your real dad's dead." And I was like, what the I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
So I never forgave for that. I never forgave my stepdad for like stepping in And it was just a really weird like thing. My brother and him, they got along like a house on fire, right? And me, I was just like always like, we get along today. You know, we bonded after like many years after. But yeah, so apparently a funny story talking about violence in the family, right?
Yeah.
The story that when she said, yeah, he passed away, right? And I was like, but you know, you got to realize that he was a troubled man. And I was like, what does that even mean? He said, well, last time he came to see us, we had this big pot of spaghetti sauce and a big pot of pasta, you know, ready, right? And he got really angry and he took the whole pot of sauce and he like tossed it on the table and it was all over the place and he ran out of there apparently. And I was like, I don't remember this. Yeah. It's like, I'm looking at my brother, he goes, do you remember this story? It's like, something about the pasta. But I don't think the pot was as big as she's trying to tell you.
It's always exaggerated.
But interesting. Okay, so actually what I felt when you were talking about those kind of stories, so what I'm really more interested in is how did you become a firefighter? What was the choice in there? And could that have been some trauma from your childhood that you wanted to help people in some other level?
It could have been. It was just a childhood dream. I always wanted to be a firefighter. I cycled to all the firehouses in the city. Yeah. And then I'd have my dad take me to the airport fire department or the military base fire department. Right. And anytime the fire department was putting on a demo or something like that, I was crazy about it. I was like, I want to go. Wow. You know, so.
Talk about demos. So I'm just a long story. I'm going to cut it really short, right? Because I'm like intrigued by firefighters, like that dedication to it and like just like understanding that you're walking into this potential situation where you can kill yourself on your job, right? You could like people die all the time. Yeah. And it's just like, why would you choose that willingly, right? So I land in, I think it's Dallas Airport. Where's Kent from, by the way? You remember? He's from Dallas, right?
Yeah, I think
Houston, Dallas, right? Yeah. So I was going to New Orleans, so we stopped over, right? And then we had to go from one plane to the other airplane, and you go on this one-wheeled, whatever you call it, tram, from one port to the other port inside the airport, right?
Monorail thing.
Yeah, monorail, exactly. Yeah. So I'm on the monorail, and I see this airplane over there, and it's burning. Like the whole airplane is shut up. Right there. Whoa, what's going on? I take out my iPhone. I'm filming. Like, what the hell's going on over there? There's an airplane burning over there. I'm not feeling very like secure about this airport right now because I'm about to board another plane, right? Yeah. And as I'm filming, like within I think 30 seconds, maybe a minute or something, the firefighters was there with their big guns and everything. Shoot, the thing was like shut down so fast. I was like, whoa. So I talked to Kent, a mutual friend of ours, and I was like, dude, man, I went to Dallas Airport, and there was some serious shit going on there. Yeah. And he goes, oh, no, that's actually a training site for the fire department. So I didn't know that, right? Yeah. So, but it was like the first time to see it, I was like, that's
when you were talking about that, I was like, that has to be a training site.
Yeah, it was a training site, but anyway, so tell me about how you actually become a firefighter.
Yeah, so I lost that childhood dream when I was in high school. Oh. We moved schools a lot, and we left Youngstown to DC, and it was just hell, man. You know, it was crazy. So I didn't. My self-esteem was a little bit low. I didn't have. I just didn't think I had what it took. Like I had this image that firefighters were like exceptional human beings, and you know what I was going through. I didn't think that I was an exceptional human being. I didn't think that I had what it took.
Right.
And, but my mom was dating a firefighter at the time, and he was like, hey, man, you know, you should try this out. And he convinced me to do it. You know, I went through the process, and I still, you know, as I was going through the interviews and the physicals, and I was looking around, I'm like, oh, man, you know, I don't know.
Talk about physicals. Were you also very physically fit back then? Did you like working out?
Yeah, because when I was moving to these different schools, there was a lot of fights, man.
Right.
A lot of fights. So I saved up my money, bought a little weight set, and I was just lifting weights. Because when I moved to DC, a lot of the blacks there didn't like me. Yeah. So I was always getting in a lot of fights. They were like always giving me problems. So I had to beef up to defend myself. You know.
Right. You never picked up martial arts back then?
No, I didn't. I was just street fighting. I guess just fighting a lot with kids, you know, my age. Just whatever came to my head. I wasn't, you know, I didn't.
So when I was 14 years old, not that I want to try and jump in on your story, but I got beat up in a street fight. Like the guy like kneed me in the face and like soccer ball kicked my head, and it was just like, holy crap, right? So I'd never fought anyone else but my brother, but he would never soccer ball and kick me in the head, right? It would be more like a headlock or something, you know? Yeah. So I just got so scared. I sprinted away, ran away, and I was 14 years old, and I was like, I just realized right there and then I got to do karate. So that's how I started karate.
Oh, that's
so
cool,
I got
man.
straight into karate from that. Yeah. I was like, I'm never want to street fight again.
Yeah, street fights are dangerous, man. I've fortunately have been all right. Never had an issue, but anyway, I did manage to get on to the fire department. I remember when I showed up at the academy, and I was looking around, and these people were just like me, you know.
Right.
I was like, oh, I can do this. If they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
You know? And then I just really busted my ass because a lot of these guys were volunteers in other fire departments or transferred from other departments. And I was like, this is my chance to relive that dream or make that dream that I had when I was a kid come true. And I can redeem myself, all the time I wasted being a kind of teenage F up,
Right.
I was like,
You must have been so proud when you graduated.
Oh, man.
Like, wow, right?
So, man, when I made it through, I got number 2. So I tied for number 1, and they were like, we can't have 2 number 1s. This guy had a score of 93.9. I had 93.4. So,
okay.
Oh,
man,
that's close. I felt good,
Yeah.
But anyway, so all my friends come, my grandparents come, and there wasn't a lot of love in my family, my grandparents and stuff, especially like my granddad. He's like a World War II and a Korean War vet, and he's also a podiatrist.
Yeah,
tough guy, gritty. He was always like he took me fishing and stuff like that, but there was no like back slaps and hugs and high fives and I love you, little man, type of thing.
Yeah.
And but anyway, as I get my helmet and my certificate from the fire chief, then, I'm walking down and everyone's clapping and whatnot. The ceremony's over. And as I'm going down the line, first, all my friends are hugging me, giving me high fives, and, my dad and my mom, whatever. And my granddad's the last guy. And I didn't expect anything from him, so I was like, Granddad, thanks for coming, man.
Oh, it's going to be good.
And then he just grabs me, this strong bear hug, because he's this little short, like, really big guy.
Yeah.
And he just grabs me, and I'm like, this is the first time he ever hugged me in my life,
Right.
And he's like, I love you. I'm proud of you.
Oh.
I'm like, what? What the hell, man? You saying this now?
Been holding back.
I was like, man, I was like, I'm gonna cry, man. And I was like, I can't cry in front of my friends, in front of all these firefighters, man.
That's like, so beautiful.
He'd never said that before, so I kind of like started crying. So, but I buried my face in his shoulder, and I kind of wiped my tears on his face, on his shoulders like a suit jacket or whatever. So I didn't want anyone to see me.
It's not really tears, if you sweat from your eyeballs,
but
that's
it
okay.
felt good, man. I was like, you asshole, man. I needed this when I was a kid. I don't need this now. I'm 20. Yeah. Was I 19 or 20 then? Did you wait 20 years to do this now? It's crazy. But our relationship improved after that.
I forgot to ask, but did you ever rekindle with your real dad then?
Yeah. My dad, man, my dad was just a womanizer. He didn't have any good fatherly advice. He wasn't a good role model. Yeah. He was a great storyteller, charming guy. He'd walk in a room and be like, hey, it's Gennaro, Yeah. He's like, all my cousins loved him.
Yeah.
They loved him because he told lots of stories and jokes. He's very charismatic, but he wasn't a good dad. He had,
kind of like my dad.
He's always like, I'll be there to pick you up on Saturday. And then, I'd be sitting there looking out the window. And then my mom's like, he's not coming.
Right.
I'm like, he's coming.
Oh.
And my mom would be like, he's not coming. Just go play with your friends. I'm like, it's because of you. I'd be blaming her. Because that's what he would do. He would also manipulate.
Yeah.
Play me against her.
Right.
He would say things to make me disrupt their household, which would cause more tension, and it would actually, I'd get more fucking ass kickings because of the things he'd tell me to do there, you know.
Wow.
So, yeah, man, there's nothing to rekindle. I mean,
but you find yourself through the fire department again, right? You build this.
Oh man, when I started saving lives and
Yeah.
stuff like that, I was like, man, I'm not a piece of shit. I'm
Yeah.
a good person.
Absolutely.
I was like, look, I just saved a newborn. The baby just came out of this woman who was dead, and I just, brought it back to life.
Wow.
You know. Yeah. And then there was more incidents like this. You know, saving lives. A lot of just like, wow, man. I just felt my confidence built up. I decided to go to university. I worked my way through college. I went to University of Maryland, got a degree.
Nice.
And then 9/11 happened, you know, and I was, like I said, I was very social, very outgoing, whatever, but it just it made me just tighten my circle of friends.
Right.
Like I didn't want any acquaintances. Like I was just done with
you just
being around people
that are just like straight, you know, and honest and like understand you and stuff. Like that. So what happens after that? I mean, we're talking because you end up going to Iraq and stuff like this.
Yeah, it was something that was bothering me for a while. I was like on the fire department, you see a lot, especially in DC. So you're seeing a lot of hardship. You're seeing a lot of despair. No. You're seeing a lot of things people don't see. It's that red pill, blue pill matrix thing, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you're seeing what really goes on behind the curtain. You know, there's infants on the street corner at 4 a.m. You know, there's heroin and crack and
because
gunshots.
Firefighters don't just fight fires, right? I mean, you guys.
Yeah, you go to medical calls and hazardous materials calls, rescues. But it's like you see all this stuff and you're like, man, I wish I could do something.
Right.
You know, wish you could do something about it. And then the same thing about 9/11. I was like, I'm not really. I felt like I'm going to be stuck on a fire department forever. You know, I wanted to kind of move on. I was kind of done with the fire department. I was thinking about going into DEA or another federal agency. Because I was in the process with DEA when I was, until 9/11 happened. I was like, now I can't go to DEA now. I'm stuck here because there's going to be more terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't want to leave now because if I leave, then it won't get done right. You know, sometimes you feel like if you're not there, it's not going to get done right.
Yeah.
And it's stupid because, man, the world's going to keep turning without you.
True.
So, but you don't think about it. You think it's only going to get done right when you're there. You know. Yeah. So I started working a lot of overtime. I didn't have friends out of work anymore. I was only socializing with people because they can only understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. My jokes, what we're talking. You know, like I didn't want to be around people that were complaining about their latte not being, you know, warm enough or have enough pumps in it or whatever. I don't know. I didn't want to be around. I didn't want to hear trivial conversations anymore. I didn't want to be around that stuff. So anyway, I thought about the military, but I didn't really know anything about the military. I didn't know, like I thought a lot of people were going after 9/11, everyone was going to the military because they wanted some revenge for that, you know. And I considered it, but I was like, I could do more here on the fire department. And then I found out about this company called Blackwater, and they needed medics.
Okay.
And Blackwater is a private military security company, and they did various missions with assignments with the government, you know, with doing embassy protection and.
There's a lot of controversy about Blackwater.
Yeah.
I mean, why do they get such a bad rep?
I guess that's that whole mystique about being a mercenary and the type of person that would be a mercenary, and it's kind of, you're not a mercenary. You're working for the government. You're contracted to do a job for the government. You're contracted to do a job that's slotted for, like I'll give you an example. For the embassy protection detail, they didn't have enough diplomatic security agents to fill those slots in Iraq and Afghanistan. So you use contractors. And the CIA also usually will have one operator and then a bunch of us.
Right. But you're not classically military trained. So how does that work?
Well, I wasn't, but a lot of the people I worked with they were either former special ops or,
why are they, so that question, I just opened up for this whole line of thought. So why do former special ops go into, is it the private sector you would call it?
Yeah, it's the private sector.
Is it for money? Do they pay better, or you would think that like if you're staying with the military, like there's a pretty early on retirement package that most of the officers can get, right?
Yeah. So the misconception is that the government spends a lot of money on contractors, like security contractors, whatever.
Right.
But so, for instance, me or a guy with my skill set as like a shooter medic, I probably cost the government maybe $350,000 a year.
Yeah.
So for a regular military guy that is deployed to Iraq or in Afghanistan, and like he just stays in his little base and maybe does the mail or I don't know, changes the tires on vehicles. That guy with just a basic skill set will cost the military around $2 million a year.
What?
Yeah.
How?
That's just because of the housing, to feed that person, to insure that person, all the benefits and whatnot.
Wow.
But the military could use a guy like me. So an equivalent shooter medic in the military, imagine how much that's worth.
Yeah.
If a guy they pay $2 million a year for is just some guy that sits in the office.
Yeah.
We call them fobbits.
Flobbits?
Fobbits. Fob is a forward operating base.
Okay.
So the people that never go out on missions, we just call them fobbits.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So so those guys cost the U.S. $2 million a year, but like a shooter medic like me, I don't know how much that, maybe 3, 4, 5, all the training that's involved, and to kit out a person like that would cost a lot of money.
So they send you down to the embassies, and then so what is your mission down there?
So my first assignment. So let's get back to like how I got there.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get on with Blackwater, but I didn't have any shooting experience. I was like, I didn't have any military experience. I didn't have policing, law enforcement experience, whatever. So I was like, they're not going to hire me just as a medic. They have weapons that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
If I go down there for their vetting process, and as soon as they tell me to go qualify at the range, I won't even know what button to push on this fucking thing. So I was like, let me transfer over to the police department, get some skills there.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I transferred to the police department, and I fucking had a blast.
Wow.
The car chases, foot chases, man, full-on fights. It was amazing. I've yet to see a movie that was more exciting than just a normal day on the street in D.C. That it was bananas. So I used that experience to get me on the Blackwater. I flew down to North Carolina where the training facility is. And they like I said, they really needed medics.
Yeah.
So I capitalized on that. I kind of snuck in through the back door because I had all the medic experience type of thing. Because they wouldn't have hired me otherwise.
Yeah. And they paid good.
Yeah, I wasn't really concerned about the money. I mean, like my first assignment in Baghdad, I was making $650 a day.
Whoa.
As long as I was in country,
Yeah. And how long are you on a mission? 4 months, I think it is?
Yeah,
right?
4 months.
Then you have to go back like legally or something? Is that?
Yeah, you sign a contract. So you can do 6-month contract or a year contract.
And like how, oh, this is going to sound crazy. Yeah. So how afraid are you of getting killed on the job during that time? Like how dangerous is it? Because I have actually no idea.
It was easy for me because on the fire department, every call that I went on, I thought this could be my last. Yeah. I mean, I accepted that when I took the job, and that's why I was a little insensitive to that guy. I was like, you should quit. You know, if you didn't know that you could die or you were going to be exposed to this stuff, you shouldn't be here. So I didn't care.
Right. You
know, I didn't care. Death didn't bother me. It never entered my mind. I was like, I'm going to give 100%. I'm not going to make it easy for anybody to kill me. And that's...
Dude, when you say that, it's like, okay, it's just...
No, I'm serious, man. Yeah. It's like, every mission I went out on Blackwater...
How many missions did you do?
I have no idea, but...
How many years or?
I've worked for them like 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Before I would go out on the mission, I'd have this death letter, you know. So I'd paste it on my door as I went out. And a lot of guys did that and they actually encouraged us to do that.
Okay.
You know, to write like, you know, 'cause some dudes would have mistresses and, you know, if they pass away, they, you know, like, hey, destroy my laptop, you know. I don't want my wife to see the naked photos of, you know, the hookers in Bali or that I've spent the last vacation when I was supposed to be on mission, you know. Yeah. Or, you know. So every day, a lot of the guys, including myself, put these notes on the back of the door. And so you knew, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, I know that I'm going to die, but I'm not going to make it easy, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you just
6 years. Wow.
Yeah. But I had a blast, man. I was bred for that stuff, man. Like chaos, and it was just like the police department, the fire department, and Blackwater. Man, that was my bread and butter, man. I was so comfortable, and it was.
So this is what blows my mind, right? You're living in the countryside with your 3 beautiful children and your wife now, and it's just like, you know, if you guys have a chance to. Raven 16 Medic?
Yeah, Raven 16 Medic.
Raven 16 Medic is an Instagram account. Dumbfounded Media would definitely post that up there. Yeah. But it's all family.
Yeah.
It's you on the one-wheeler. You inspired me to get a one-wheeler.
Yeah.
So, I mean, thank you for that. They're pretty sick, actually. Yeah, it's fun. But it's just all family. Yeah, you and your kids. I've had the pleasure of, you know, having a great relationship with your whole family.
Yeah.
And your kids are great, you know. Yeah. And you're always so like really involved with your, especially your sons, right?
Yeah.
You know, because they do Jujitsu and you're into Jujitsu and stuff like baseball and all that stuff, right? Now that we're talking about Instagram, I'm going to take a little deep dive into it because I've actually pulled out some photos from it, so I thought I'd share with you. So the first one, obviously, this is a Jujitsu you are teaching here, I think.
On that one? No, I'm not teaching. I'm just rolling around with another dude.
Rolling around with another dude. Yeah. Okay, there's some really cool photos. Yeah. Tell me about how you got involved with Jujitsu.
Jujitsu, I started, when I was on the police department, it was, I mean, I'd show up to roll call sometimes by myself. I'd be in roll call by myself. And I'd have to cover this whole fucking district by myself. Yeah. So I'm on the street, I'm outgunned, outmanned, and DC is a violent city. It's not anymore, but it was crazy, all right? And so I'm pulling over guys, and I'm after the foot chase or the car chase, and it's on, man. They don't want to go to jail. Yeah. They don't want to be restrained, so it's on, you know? So I remember I pulled this guy over. The funny way it started is like, I was driving up the street and I saw a fellow officer pull over these ladies, and it was a drunk stop.
Yeah,
and they were hot. You know, so I was like, I'm gonna check these girls out, man. You know? Because I was like, hey, man, you need some help? And then as I was just kind of standing in the background, making sure he was safe, you know.
Yeah.
I see this car pull by, and this guy mean mugs me, man. Man, I don't play that shit.
No. But do you reckon, like, because you've spent so much time, sorry for cutting in here, but you're spending so much time on the streets that you can, like, you can suss, when there's something off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a heightened sense for something like that.
Yeah, so I saw him looking at him. He's mean mugging me. I was like, I'm going to pull this guy over. I jumped in the car, followed him, and then he started driving a little erratic, and then he pulled up on the curb and pretended he was going to go into the 7-Eleven. So I rolled up on him really fast, and as soon as I got to the car, I was like, I could smell marijuana.
Oh, yeah.
And not like smoked marijuana, like raw, fresh stuff.
Okay.
It was like really potent. I was like, this guy's transporting weed, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I tell him to get out the car, and, you know, he puts his, like, he does this.
Oh,
and I was like, I felt it. I was like, it's on. So he did a jerk, and then he's looking for routes. He's like, he looked left, he looked right. He's like, all right, where can I run? I was like, don't do it, man. Don't do it. And so he started to move, and I took the door and I jammed him in the door to try to slow him down. And then it was like trying to like catch a greased pig, man. And then it was just stupid, man. It was just, we're just fighting in the middle of the street. Bah, 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 bah. It seemed like forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not efficient at all, you know, because I wasn't trained in stand up or ground fighting. I'm just doing whatever stuff I did in high school, like in the backyard or school ground, playground, whatever. And I was getting exhausted, you know. And then all the crowd started coming. They're like, "Hey, stop! You're fighting. That's my cousin." You know, they're not cousins, you know, but
they're all cousins.
It took forever to get this guy down, and you know, I'm just using whatever I knew, because the stuff I got trained in the police academy was BS, you know?
Right.
So like Aikido wrist lock crap.
Oh my God.
It doesn't work in real life, you know? So I get this guy on the ground, I'm just kneeing him, I'm just trying to just stay down, man, you know? And then he goes for his into his waist, and I'm like, don't do it, man, don't do it. And I went for my gun. I was gonna put a bullet in his head, you know?
Right.
But then he threw like a big bag of weed and underneath the car, and then
so he was carrying it.
Then he bit me. I still have a scar right here. But he bit my hand, and I was like, it just took way too much energy to restrain. I was like, I gotta learn something else, man. And then I think that's the time when UFC was out. First UFC, or you know, Gracie was killing it, you know, a little guy beating all these big guys. I was like, I need something more efficient. So I started doing that. And then now, everyone I wrap up, it's like, takes like 5 seconds. Yeah. And his face doesn't look like hamburger meat. And I look pretty, he looks pretty, and then I take him in, we're all looking happy, you know. And then he's not hurt, I'm not hurt, and this is win-win for everyone.
Oh,
you know?
Absolutely.
You know, I'm not in front of the internal affairs. You know, no complaints, man. Everything's cool. So that's how I got into jiu-jitsu and stuck with it, man.
Cool. So talking about your family, all right? So where's this and what's going on in this photo? It is extremely beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. We're in, I think, Arizona. It's these little, I don't know, it's some kind of rock formations we were walking through.
Looks like a sand cave kind of, I don't know, it just looks like you could like see the layers of the earth inside it. Like, it's so beautiful.
Man. So beautiful. Yeah, all the different hues of red and orange and everything. Yeah, it was like, so when you roll up on that area, you can't see it you have to go, it's underground. Yeah. Yeah, so
you got to crawl into that.
You got to take these little really steep stairs to go down, and then it just kind of like a tunnel you weave through. Right. Yeah.
Have you seen the movie 127 Hours?
Where the guy chews his arm off, or saws his arm off.
Isn't that one of those caves that you guys are into? Kind of?
Maybe.
Okay, so this one is hilarious. Like, I mean, talk about being medic and all that stuff. It's like, what did you do to your arm here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's still there. All right, so there's this old lady that lives next to us, and she asked me to, she's like, can you help cut this grass over here? And, you know, there's like grass growing out of the wall, and near her grave. So a lot of times I'll cut the path that goes to her grave so she can go pay her respects, whatever.
Yeah.
And she'll give me like a 6-pack of beer from time to time.
Yeah.
And
friendly neighborhood.
This time there's a rock wall where her farm is, or like her garden is. I was already trimming the area.
Yeah.
You know, grooming it so she get to her grave, whatever. And she's like, "Can you do this area too?" So I was like, "Fine." And so I'm like carving it with this weed cutter thing, and I'm not watching where I'm walking. And there's these yuzu trees, and these yuzu trees, you have to Google it. They have these gnarly thorns. I mean,
yuzu is like not like a lemon or lime. It's a little bit more specific.
It's like a peppery, Amalfi lemon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like, if you can imagine what an Amalfi lemon tastes like, but it's peppery.
Yeah,
so good.
But and they got gnarly, like what do you call that? Toge, like the thorns.
Yeah. So I thought I stepped on a rock, but it was air, and then I fell back in slow motion, and then these thorns like fish hook my
oh my god,
my elbow, and just carve this open up my arm.
So you see the irony here, right?
And then my blood's just going everywhere, and the lady's like freaking out. Oh,
real life superhero, right? And then the thing that gets you is is a thorn in the yuzu tree.
Oh man,
right?
I've been through a lot, and this is like the worst scar I have. You know, I've got a couple stab wounds, but this.
Oh my god,
this was the gnarliest right here.
That's just nuts. Yeah. Anyway, so you're healed up now. You're all good. That's just crazy. You know, I saw once, it reminded me of that when I saw the photo of it. Yeah. So in karate, they have these big water crates of clay. Yeah. Like they used to use back in the old days. They used to put like kimchi and like make stuff in them, right?
Yeah, I've seen those.
So as a demonstration, right, because karate people were sometimes a little bit nuts, right? We'd kick baseball bats or break blocks of ice and stuff like that. So this one guy's like, there's no one else doing it out there. So I'm going to break this clay jar, right? And he goes in to do it with his elbow, and he smacks it, right? You know when clay breaks, it like gets razors, very, you know? Yeah. So his whole forearm just like split open like that, even worse than yours. And I just saw that muscle stick there out of his arm, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a bit too much, but yeah. But he's fine now.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyway, so I want to kind of get into this because this is from your police days, right?
Yeah.
What is that? And what is actually going on here?
All right. So this is a crazy story. So you know the guy I just talked about that I fought, and he bit me, and so for shits and giggles, I was like, I'm gonna write a search warrant for his house.
Yeah.
So I was still kind of a rookie. I asked my partner, and he was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And so he's like, "I'll contact narcotics, and we'll get him to sit on the house and stuff like that." So the narcs sat on his house, and they're like, "Hey, man, this is a good house."
As in a bad house.
Yeah. But for us, it's good.
Yeah.
So it's a good house. So we did a raid on the house, and there's like barrels of like that cardboard barrel there was full of marijuana.
Holy crap!
So there are a bunch of those cardboard barrels, and there's crack, like a container bigger than this of crack cocaine I found under his bed. And then there's powdered cocaine, lots of cash, rifles, pistols, stuff like that. A little
warlord going on in there.
Yeah, but the messed up thing is, because I'm a rookie, they kind of blew it off.
Oh.
As a, man, he doesn't know what he's talking about, blah, blah.
Oh, my God.
And when we raided the house, like there's no furniture in the living room.
Right.
But there's rows of duffel bags. There's probably like 40 or 50 duffel bags. And they're unzipped, nothing in them, but Christmas trees.
Christmas trees?
You know those air freshener Christmas trees?
Oh, yeah.
So there's stuff, and you could, as soon as you walked in, all you smelled was like strawberry Christmas tree air freshener.
Right.
So when I saw that, I was really pissed off, because like, you move too fucking slow, and you missed the drug bust of the century, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you listened and moved when I told you to move, instead of being like, that's some fucking rookie. You know?
Right. It's interesting.
Who cares what he says, you know?
So what they do in the movies really does happen in real life too.
Yeah. And then there was a guy in the basement when we raided it, and the dumbass sergeant, he lets him go. And then the guy that he actually had other properties like a barber shop, a car wash.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's hit those too. But I'm a fucking rookie. Don't listen to the rookie. And so that guy goes and he warns the barber shop. He warns the car wash place. And then they get rid of all the other stuff.
Oh, so you could have had a massive bust there.
Man, yeah.
Damn. So he got away.
Yeah.
Okay, last one from your social media. I mean, what is that? What is that?
Mushrooms, man.
Can you eat them?
I don't know.
They just look like a giant monster's toes or something.
Yeah, those are mushrooms that look like, they're called death fingers or something. I don't know. They look like zombie fingers.
Far out, right? Man. It looks like something like,
Yeah, I'm always finding all kinds of weird stuff.
It just looks nuts. Like I've never seen a mushroom look like that ever.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about guns and talk about drugs, right? Two things. Two questions for you I want to know. Yeah. The first one is guns in America. Yeah. So I grew up in Denmark, born in Greece, but grew up in Denmark. In Denmark, guns are very illegal. Like in all of Europe, guns are illegal.
Strange.
You go to Australia, exactly. Funny that you would say strange because as a Danish guy, I would say that it's strange that you think it's okay to have guns. And so what are the pros and cons to having guns?
All right, so you talk to me, a gun is like a tool. It's like a hammer, a screwdriver. You know, I've always used it as a tool. And I've never used it in like a peacocking way, brandishing it or threatening someone with it. I just see it as a tool, as something to defend myself or to perform my job properly.
Yeah.
And I'm not a blue pill guy. I'm not a person who lives in a bubble. Yeah. Of people that aren't exposed to violence. As a firefighter, as a police officer.
No, but you've really seen it all.
I've seen what can happen. I've seen people's homes get raided, and them not being able to defend themselves. I've kicked open the door and found a woman hog-tied. And, when you talk to these people, they wish they had a weapon to defend themselves. Right. In D.C., it's illegal to have a handgun.
Okay.
But this lady had been raped and sodomized for a week in her own home, all tied up.
Well, so they just busted into her house and did that?
It was a home invasion. They raided it, and they.
How did you guys find out about that?
It was a check on a welfare call, and then I come in there.
That's like absolutely horrendous.
I remember walking up on her, and then she's looking at me. I was like, I gotta untie her, and I keep a knife in my pocket, so I pull out my knife and I go over to cut the ropes, and then she just freaks out.
Yeah.
She just she's all tied up. She just wiggles away from me. She's screaming. And I'm like, sit still. I'm going to
help you,
but I was like, she's still in that zone, man. She sees me. All she sees is some guy with a knife, and it's my turn now.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever those guys did.
Oh, my God.
So I put my knife away. I was like, I'm here to help, blah, blah, blah. I was like, if you don't want me to cut it, I'll untie it. But, So as far as like guns, I've seen too many reasons not to have a gun in your house to be like anti-gun, because it evens the odds.
I'm just like, my mind is running out of like 1,000 miles an hour right now. I was thinking, okay, so let's just say, let's pretend that she'd had a gun in her house, right?
Yeah.
But any like using common sense, it's not like you just have your gun sitting on your dining table.
No, it's usually locked away or whatever like that.
But if it's locked away and they just busting in and open the door and like holding her hostage in the same time, how would she ever get to that gun if it's locked away somewhere?
Well, I mean, it's not, unless her door was wide open. I mean, it takes a few kicks to get open, especially if there's a professional. I'm sure they can get in faster. But
did you guys find those guys?
No.
Damn it.
Yeah. I think if you the thing about weapons, it should be like Japan. You have, you know, you have to go to a range, qualify with it, be familiar with the weapons, malfunction drills. You should be evaluated, you know, so you're a sane person and all that. So I'm not pro-gun to the point where everyone should have them. I think you should be responsible gun owner. You should know how it works. You should go to a range and qualify with it. So when you are forced to use it, you put the bullets on target instead of randomly, and you know, misses, and then it hits a kid eating breakfast or an old lady, you know, walking her dog, whatnot.
We have a friend that we had a very interesting conversation. We got some friends that are hunters here in Japan. They hunt wild boar and deer and stuff license. Like that. Yeah, and then so we had some like interesting gun conversations about that and how they're really responsible about it. And there's so many rules and regulations. You have to register each bullet, and if you shot a bullet, you have to like carry the shell back home and stuff. And it's like really interesting laws there. But the other conversation that we had about guns was because there are so many Americans that have guns. And there are so many registered hunters in America. For example, a normal state like, I don't know, Washington probably have like 900,000 people that are hunters, like registered hunters. Yeah. So his point of view was, well, you know, it's the army behind the army. And that's why America will never be invaded.
Yeah, there was a general that said
well, there you go.
A blade of grass, it's like every blade of grass or something.
Was that movie Red Dawn, right? Where the Russians come in and try to invade in America, right? And then they go out into the woods and they all have their guns and they're like guerrilla tactics. But this is actually true. And it's something that I'd never really thought about. It's true when you think about it, because if there's like the army, the military, and then there's the whole population that could fight for America. Yeah. I was like, probably would not want to go there and try and pick a fight, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's what shocks me. There's no gun culture here. And there's a lot like airsoft and fantasy stuff. But if something happens over there and they have to pack up and leave, like they pulled out of Afghanistan, you know, just all of a sudden, those bases are empty. And you got no way to defend yourself.
Oh, yeah.
There's no gun culture here. There's no... Who's coming? China? Korea? Who? I have no idea. But I'm telling you, if there's no way to defend yourself, the typical male here, well, the stereotypical male here, from what I've seen, is just into fashion and video games. And, you know, there's no... You know, guns are only bad when you're not trained, and you know, and bad guys have them, but you should be able to defend yourself. You know.
Interesting. Yeah. Marijuana. So it's pretty much legalized in America. Yeah. Why is the rest of the world not following that? My view on marijuana, by the way, is that if you break it down to two things, you see guys that are, you know, high on cocaine and like really drunk, and they're like fucking party on, right? And all that alcohol gets them all aggressive, you know, and they get into fights and all that stuff, right? I'm not sure about the cocaine. I'm just talking about alcohol, because it's like an aggressor, right? It turns it on, right? Guys stuff like that. But I've never heard of any two, you know, dudes like smoking weed and just going, oh man, they get chill, right?
Yeah, they get chill.
It's not like they're not going to start fighting, right?
No, they probably talk too much. Maybe.
Exactly, right? He's like, dude, should we fight? Yeah, let's talk about it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm pro. I mean, I was like, why not? Sure. I mean, Canada can do it, you know. In Denmark, it's not really illegal, but it's kind of illegal. But you can go buy it, and people use it for recreational smoking all the time, right? Yeah. I don't see why the rest of the world is not just like, you know, tagging along on that one.
Yeah, I mean, Japan's 50 to 100 years behind everyone else in certain things. So, I mean, I don't do drugs. I mean, a lot of people get benefit from marijuana. I have nothing against marijuana and people who do marijuana. I think it helps, especially cancer and people that have pain issues. And I think it's a lot healthier and more responsible than the opiates. You know, people are like going bananas over that stuff. And, you know, start using it over here.
Yeah, I was just like, I was thought because you're one of the people who's fighting on what would you call that, the war on drugs. Basically, you're out there actually catching drug dealers and they're selling marijuana, they're selling crack and cocaine.
But let's get it straight.
Things, right?
I wasn't one of those officers that would arrest someone for personal use. So if I came up on someone and I searched them and it was just a couple joints or a bag of weed, I'd let them go.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd let them go and they keep their weed. I didn't care. They're not drug dealers. They're just people who want to get high from time to time.
Right.
I remember
I read that on one of your posts one time. It's like you let more people go than you're actually arrested for it.
Yeah. It's silly.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this guy or girl in the criminal justice system and ruin their lives for but I had officers like that for them. And I think here, that's like the big bust. You find someone a little weed, man, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
I would never do something like that. That's horrible. You're destroying people's lives. It doesn't make sense. I remember walking, there were these two girls walking and they're kind of passing the joint. And I was walking behind them. And
where is this?
This is in DC.
Oh, okay.
And I'm in full uniform, police.
Right, okay.
So I'm walking behind them. I'm like, I can't believe these girls are just smoking so casually in public. But it was like there was a playground over there. So I was like, I'm going to make a point just to mess with them. So I came in the middle of them as one girl's here and I walked in the middle and I put my arm around them like this. I'm like, hey, ladies, what's up? And then they didn't see my uniform. So they're like, hey, what's going on? And they passed it to me.
Oh.
And then I'm like, I guess they saw the shine of my badge at that moment. And then the other girl slaps it out of their hand and she steps on it. I was like, it's like, hey, you didn't have to do that. I just want to tell you, you see those kids over there?
Yeah.
You're the role models, all right? Let's not do that over. Go do it over there.
Yeah.
Do it in private or something,
All right.
They're not ready for that,
Hilarious story. Love it. Love it, man. Yeah. All right, we're going to do a Flashmob Quiz here. It's super quick.
Okay.
It's like 10 questions, and it's like you get like 2 seconds to respond. All right? So just to see what kind of where your head's at when you get like flash questions, right?
All right.
First one. American whiskey or Scottish?
Scottish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obama or Bush?
Bush. I'll tell you why after that.
Yes, please.
When it's done.
Iron Maiden or Metallica?
Man, it's tough. Metallica.
Chocolate chip or caramel swirl?
Chocolate chip.
Cardio or weights?
Weights.
Okay, this one is a little bit a tricky one. Doggy style or missionary?
Doggy. That's when the animal comes out, man.
Gunfight or knife fight?
Gunfight.
Italian pizza or American?
Italian, man. Come on.
Steroids or natural?
Natural.
Pie or cake?
Pie.
Last one. Okay, this is kind of a silly one though. Cocaine or marijuana? Too long.
Yeah, I'd say cocaine, man. Energy. I like energy.
All right, cool. Yeah. So why Bush?
All right, so this is the thing that's kind of crazy. Everyone would portray Bush, especially in the media. They'd always take the piss out of him.
Yeah.
Was doing, they'd always take these gaffes that he would do and post it, something silly he would do, make him look like an idiot.
Yeah.
But I've protected him on multiple occasions. I have conversations with this guy. I remember the first time I met him.
So you bodyguarded him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the first time I met him, I was on Medic 1. Medic 1 is the medic unit that's assigned to the White House. So if he travels in a motorcade anywhere in D.C. or the suburban area, we're in that motorcade. So I roll up on that assigned day. I don't know where he was going to go that day, but I'm just, I'm sitting out. I have like a little brief with the Secret Service agent and just kind of talking to him. And I see somebody in the distance in the corner of my eye doing like suicides. Suicides.
Yeah, sprints, like short sprints, right? Back and forth.
Back and forth. So it's like, who the hell's doing suicides and this early in the morning? And he was like, oh, that's President Bush. I'm like, what? This dude's doing suicide. He's going, pow, 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 pow. And that's just his warm-up.
Huh.
Because we were going to PT at this we're going to do a mountain bike ride.
Right.
So we get to the mountain bike ride, and he's just smoking on that thing. This dude was so fit, man. When you went on runs with him, bike rides, or any kind of sporting thing, he was the king, man.
Wow, I would never have guessed that.
But Obama and Clinton and I mean, Bush would kick all their asses in one go. Yeah.
Cool.
He was a cool dude. Just conversations with him. Like I've spoken to Obama. I haven't spoken to Bill Clinton, but I've spoken to Bush, and he's the type of guy you invite to a barbecue.
Wow.
He's the type of guy you crack a beer with, because he'll remember your name. He remembered my fucking name.
Yeah.
You know, Obama never remembered my name. You know, this guy remembered my name. If he saw me reading a book, he'd be like, "Hey, what are you reading?" And I'm like, "Oh, check it out." You know, I was reading the book of 5 Rings. He's like, "Oh man, it looks very interesting." Yeah. And like he would talk about, when you'd have a conversation with Bush, it's like whatever is in the immediate vicinity.
Right.
Whereas if you're talking to Obama, it's like, "Hey, how's the weather?" You know, or stupid shit like that. Man.
Yeah.
It's like a fake kind of conversation. You know, with Bush is more intimate. He was more. If we were talking, if someone tapped him on the shoulder, "Hey, you know, we need to go. Hey, hold on, I'm talking to Carlo." And I'm like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
He's like putting this guy on hold for me. Very cool.
Very cool.
Where if it's Obama, I'd be like, "Yeah, nice talking to you." Gone. You know.
So he's just like, he makes you feel like, he makes everyone feel like they're,
and his whole family were like that too.
Yeah.
They're very polite. Like his daughters. I remember sitting in front of, I pissed off my sergeant one day. So he's like, "Getting in too many fucking car chases. Go park your car in front of White House. Don't move. Stay there." And so sometimes on the way there, I would mess with him. And like, I was like, "All right, how can I get this asshole back for making me post up and stay there all day?" I would get a drunk stop on the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, sorry. You know, I saw this car swerving. I had to pull him over." But anyway, this time, sitting in front of the White House, this car pulls up. I'm pissed off because I'm stuck at it's the Lafayette. I don't know. This park in front of the White House.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off from there, and I look over, and someone's waving at me. "Hello, hello, hello, hello." I'm like, some drunk. I look over, and it's his daughter. This is Bush's daughter, but it didn't sink in. I was like, because I'm angry because I'm there, man. Right. I was like, I'm going to lock this person up. And I realized it was her, and she's just waving all polite, and it's like, "Hey, you're okay? You need anything?"
Wow.
And she's being really nice. And like his whole family was like really genuinely nice, you know.
That's really cool.
And they'd give you the time of day. So it was cool. I really liked them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So we're almost coming to a wrap for today's talk, but I'd like you to talk about your project that you're doing with your wife down in Kochi right now.
Yeah. So we're building a CrossFit gym. It's called Atoyo Strength.
Nice.
And it's going to be like a fitness retreat, and she's spearheading it. We got a big shipment from Rogue a couple days ago, and loading. I'm still sore picking those jerk boxes and unloading the boxes. But so we're building this gym right next to the river, overlooking some rice paddies. The river there is like emerald green.
Fantastic location. I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah, mountains and everything. But we're also building like a little tiny house there, like an accommodation on the place. So it's going to be 250 or a little more than 250 square feet, plus the tiny house, and then like an event space where you can do whatever. And then we're going to have like a little area, like a track, kind of do sprints and sled, whatever.
Yeah. Cool stuff, like a big playground, basically.
Yeah,
for fitness,
like a big jungle gym for adults. And like I said, you get hot, just run down, jump in the river.
So cool. I'm so jealous, man.
Yeah, and there's big ass stones there, so we could do strongman stuff.
Oh,
just pick up some stones and run around. Yeah, so I'm looking.
When do you think that's going to be open?
I don't know, man.
You have a date for it? No?
Spring
next year, so not this year.
Yeah, not this year.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely spring. Hopefully by spring. Depends on the construction.
Right.
The government grants, and it's just a lot of paperwork right now.
Yeah.
And dealing with vendors and trying to do it right.
Yeah.
So she's doing a hell of a job. She's doing more work than I. She's doing all the heavy lifting, man. I'm just sitting back looking pretty, man. She's just doing everything. So you need to talk to her. She gets
absolutely
all the credit, man. It's pretty stressful.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Well, I've opened my own gym, so I understand that.
Yeah, man.
The Tokyo Show.
Proud of you, man.
Thank you. The Tokyo Show will definitely be coming down and visiting once you guys are open.
Yeah.
I'm actually an ambassador for Coach Kent, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, they're looking forward to you coming down.
It'd be awesome. Yeah, it'd be really cool. Okay, so through your whole life, I believe that people like us, we're going to live till we're 100. So you're halfway there.
Yeah.
At the halfway point, right? What would be the best advice that you could give anyone out there, a youngster, like a young, university student or something?
Consistency. I'd say, fortunately, I've had jobs where I'm on the tip of the spear, so I've always been mentally and physically ready for the worst. And I know that, my body is a tool, so I need to keep it, sharp, and my mind and body sharp, and my skills sharp. So I'm always, in the gym or learning some different skill or at the range or whatever. But the reason, I feel like that contributed to my longevity. I'm 51, but I feel great. I feel like I could still hang with the young guys. I feel like I could, the fire department is hiring, the old fire department is hiring right now. I feel like I can go back and, do another 10, 20 years, man. That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
But it's consistency. It's doing a little bit, don't go to the gym and bring the thunder one day a week, man. And then you're done, man. I don't take days off.
Yeah.
I don't take it. I just do a light day.
Yeah.
I work out 7 days a week, or I try. If something comes up, or if I'm traveling, that's my day off. Or the kids have a game, or if we have something going on, if we're in the mountains somewhere, something special, that's my day off. I don't take any days off. I'll bring the thunder a couple times a week, but the rest of the time, I'm just doing a little bit, but my body keeps moving, and, it's just the turtle, the rabbit and turtle thing. Just,
man.
You do a little bit. You'll get there,
constantly,
man. Yeah.
Sticking at it, yeah. This is what I call sustainable fitness, by the way.
There you go.
If you try to bring the thunder every day, you're going to burn out. Trust me.
Man.
I did that when I was younger.
Yeah.
17 broken bones and 7 operations later. I'm all about sustainable fitness right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Fortunately, I've never been hurt. I feel like when it rains, my back hurts a little bit. I think that's from body armor and.
This is crazy. The worst injury I ever had was that thorn from the old lady's push.
Yeah, man. I was like, I'm gonna die slipping on a banana or something. I've been through all that stuff.
I want to say thank you very much for coming on the show, man. What you've shared with us today is friggin' incredible. I'm really proud to call you your friend, man.
Yeah, man.
Really happy to have you here.
Yeah.
If you have anything, last message for the Tomodachis out there, go ahead and shout it out, man.
Other than, when our gym opens, come down, check it out, get in the fresh air. It's COVID free. There's no, I tell you, man, being in nature, it empowers you, man. So, you look up in the sky, it's star encrusted, it's very relaxing, and it makes you feel humble, That's all I can say. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tomodachis, thank you guys for joining Tokyo Talks today. This was Carlo. We've had a fantastic talk today. I'm blown away, to be honest. If you guys want to support the channel even more, we also have a patreon.com/The Tokyo Show sponsored site that you guys can come in and watch exclusive stuff. Carlo's Patreon exclusive material was absolutely mind-blowing too. I highly recommend watching it. Sign up for it, Tomodachis. This was it. Thank you guys for watching today.
Grab a chair. Throw it at the first guy. Boom. It breaks. I look down at the pieces. He looks at me. I look at the pieces. I grab some pieces.